In this edition of Southern Newsweek, Well South Invercargill encourages young men to be immunised from the HPV virus. Junior doctors around the country walk off the job for several days in protest. And with mobility and userability in their sites, a Dunedin group needs your input. Kia ora, I'm Holly Buchanan. The only immunisation that protects against forms of cancer is being made widely available to boys around the country. Gardasil, better known as the HPV vaccine, was originally distributed to Kiwi girls as a way to protect against cervical cancer in 2008. And staff at Well South Invercargill are keen to see more people take up the opportunity to protect themselves against the virus.
Boys are now included in the group that can receive the only vaccine protecting against cancer. Hi, I'm Ruby Spink in Invercargill, outside one of the high schools which will now be targeted for Gardasil immunisations in the coming months. Gardasil 9 protects against 9 forms of the human papillomavirus, or HPV for short. 7 of the HPV strands can cause cervical, anal and oral cancers. The other 2 strands covered are the 2 most common genital wart risk HPVs.
HPV affects both males and females, and particularly mouth and throat cancers caused by HPV affect men in higher rates than women. The immunisation for boys has always been recommended in New Zealand, it just hasn't been funded before now.
Braxton says the immunisation was originally funded to target the most common cancer from HPV, cervical cancer. But now it requires less doses, so can be used more widely to include boys.
It's been a newly an improved vaccine, I guess, and it's now been found that when given to under 15-year-olds, 2 injections is enough.
She says it's a very low-risk vaccine that's been widely tested. Only 3 people per million are allergic to it.
We've been liaising with schools since the end of 2016, so letting them know that there are changes to the vaccine. We've already had information into school newsletters for parents to sort of be thinking about, and we'll be following that up also with education sessions in schools if they wish to have those.
She says if anyone has any questions on Gardasil 9, they should contact the team at hpv@wellsouth.org.nz or call them on 0800 800 249. Once the school year begins, Well South will start their awareness campaigns. I'm Ruby Spink for The South Today.
A $1.36 million facelift was scheduled to start this week on the infamous BP roundabout in Queenstown. The roundabout should help with bottleneck traffic, which is currently causing delays as far as Kawara Falls Bridge and now including 5 Mile.
This roundabout will soon look different, and the New Zealand Transport Agency hopes the new layout will get vehicles moving along. Hello, Mina Amso in Queenstown. This roundabout will be remodelled to including 2 traffic lanes heading towards the Queenstown town centre. The BP roundabout has long been a trouble spot for vehicles travelling to and from Queenstown CBD, but New Zealand's Transport Agency Project Manager Phil Dorset says the $1.36 million revamp is expected to improve traffic and reduce delays for vehicles heading in both directions.
Well, it's simply to get 2 circulating lanes around most of the roundabout. We will trim back the islands on each leg so that there's a bit more room to have 2 circulating lanes, and that will help increase the capacity of the roundabout.
An NZTA traffic count shows about 23,000 vehicles a day enter the roundabout from the Queenstown Event Centre side alone. Downer contractors have been on site since yesterday and work is due to start today. Traffic delays may happen at peak times, but Dorset said a temporary traffic management plan is being put in place for the current remodelling, expected to be completed March this year. Mina Amso, The South Today.
Junior doctors have been on strike again this week in the hope that this time works. The nationwide strike had around 3,500 doctors walk out at 7 a.m. on Tuesday morning until 8 a.m. on Friday morning. They've been holding out for DHB negotiations to bring forward positive change.
Around 3,500 doctors didn't show up at hospitals around the country this morning. Hi, I'm Ruby Spink in Invercargill, outside Southland Hospital, where many house doctors aren't at work today due to the national strikes.
What we're trying to get is safer hours, so not working as many days in a row and not working as many nights in a row, and making sure that when that is implemented that we have safe numbers of doctors on the ground as well, because it's no good just having a couple of days off if it means your colleagues have to do more work and it's still not safe. So we're hoping that that will get resolved.
She says she doesn't want to be on strike because she'd rather be helping the patients, but the hours some of her colleagues are expected to work can be dangerous.
Typical working hours would be 8 till 4 during the week, and not everyone works the weekend, but obviously you've got to have 24/7 cover, so if people are working the weekend then it's generally 8 until 11 o'clock at night. So if you're working the weekend you get to work both the week prior, the weekend days and the week after.
A previous strike led to failed negotiations with the DHBs, so the young doctors are hoping that this time works better.
There was some effect from the last strike. We definitely went back to the drawing board with more negotiations. There was definitely some improvements with the negotiating teams for the DHBs. However, we've had step backs when the offers were then taken to the DHBs for agreement, which is kind of why we want to strike again. This time we've made it a day longer, which will have hopefully some more effect on everyone.
The DHBs are meeting later this week, so we could have an end to these strikes as soon as Thursday. I'm Ruby Spink for The South Today.
There was strong demand for a small offering of animals available at the recent Gore ram sale, however prices were down. A Perrindale ram from the Hinarua stud fetched the top price for the day of $7,800. Nicole Sharp has the story.
Posing for photos. The top price Perrindale ram and its vendors Peter Christie and Julie Wilson of McNabb and buyers Blair Smith of Oamaru and Robert Gardine of Omakau. About 150 rams went through the selling arena at the Gore AMP showgrounds, mostly Perrindale, but also Romneys, Cheviots, Border Leicesters and Coopworths from across the South Island. Callum McDonald, PGG Wrightson's livestock genetics rep, will be pretty happy because everything is sold.
Obviously, best thing about today was the full clearance. All the rams sold. Top price is 7.8, which was Peter Christie from Hinarua, and that sold to New Haven Perrindales and Oamaru.
Prices at the sale were down, Mr McDonald saying that was a result of the small size of the offering. The sale continues on Wednesday, where breeds being showcased include Texels, Suffolks, Poll Dorsets, South Suffolks and Dorset Downs. I'm Nicole Sharp for The South Today.
A Dunedin man with macular degeneration has started a petition calling on the government to establish a working party on pedestrian safety in New Zealand. Jake Rutherford is also a participant in a survey on the value of footpaths. And a response from visually impaired members of the community has raised a few questions.
Jack Rutherford has bad eyesight. That makes crossing the street particularly dangerous.
I have actually nearly been hit by cars sweeping across the crossing at speed, even though I am almost halfway across the crossing myself.
Rutherford has the eye condition macular degeneration and knows better than most the value of footpaths. He took part in a road controlling authority survey by transportation researcher Bridget Burdett.
There are some 200,000 of us in New Zealand, and we are a growing group. And fundamentally, in terms of the present survey on pedestrians, we are seeking to find ways and means in which we can ensure that pedestrians are safe.
Survey results so far show the value of well-maintained footpaths is underestimated, and that has prompted Rutherford to start a petition calling on the government to establish a working party on pedestrian safety.
Pedestrian crossings that are clear and in the correct place. And I think that's one of our most important aspects, particularly out here at a place like Green Island where I live. And I don't want to concentrate just on Green Island, but Green Island is a good example of where there is a great deal of traffic in an area in which in its CBD is a pedestrian area.
Rutherford, who struggles to read, type and cook, points out more people are killed or injured as pedestrians than cyclists. Rutherford wants more consideration given to the way streets, crossings and bus stops are designed so pedestrians no longer feel they are taking their lives into their hands crossing the road. Roselle LeBone, The South Today.
An Invercargill teenager is on the way to becoming an internet sensation. Hannah Simpson has posted videos on social media platform Instagram of her riding a cow. The clips have gone viral, with repostings of the video being shared more than 400,000 times.
When life gives you lemons, learn to ride a cow as you would a horse. You may have seen this already, but it's the perfect example of taking what you've got and running with it. On her Swiss brown cow, Hannah Simpson can canter and do jumps. Hi, I'm Ruby Spink in Invercargill, where the videos were originally posted 2 weeks ago and have since gone viral, covered by many international news agencies.
From all over the world, the UK, Canada, America, Brazil, Norway and Australia as well, yeah.
And with news agencies reposting her videos, the clips have been seen over 400,000 times. She says she never thought this hobby would garner so much attention. Simpson's brother dared her to start riding Lilac about 6.5 years ago.
I think it was a dare from my younger brother just to jump on and ride her, so that's what I did, just jumped on and rode her, and she was fine with it, so I was like, oh, we could do this, just keep going.
Lilac has always shown an interest in jumping from when she was a calf jumping over the gates. So Hannah started getting her to jump logs, and it all went from there. Now Lilac can jump 1 metre high, but she doesn't always behave as Hannah wants. As the phrase goes, never work with children or animals. But cows aren't the only animals she's ridden.
I didn't actually ride a horse till about 4 years ago, and that was the first time. I've ridden a lot of our other cows. I used to ride my goats when I was really little, and the sheep, but we got told off for that, so we weren't allowed to do it.
She and Lilac go around the farm and down to the river for swims at least once a week. Hannah says she's going to continue riding Lilac as long as they both enjoy the adventures. I'm Ruby Spink for The South Today.
UNESCO, along with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, are financially backing a Trans-Tasman project to improve hygiene in Indonesia. An educational film is being made in Dunedin featuring Javanese shadow puppets who tell the tale of evil bacteria. And recently, some top musicians began adding the soundtrack.
Taking Indonesian culture back to the villages. A centuries-old tradition is getting a modern reworking to hopefully save lives. A $30,000 film project hopes to make people more aware of better hygiene.
Well, the project we've been working on is a collaboration between a couple of universities and other funding agencies that's seeking to put together a Javanese shadow puppet play, or wayang kulit play, which is a health promotion resource for communities in rural areas of Java in Indonesia.
Dan Bendrups is directing the musicians as they record part of the soundtrack. This scene features two of the movie's characters having a battle. 7th generation wayang kulit dalang, or traditional puppet theatre master Joko Susilo, explains why his countrymen are more likely to get the message this way.
Yeah, because they know the character already, this good character. And also we put some more character like worm, like viruses, like parasite, worm that, look at that worm inside the body. Imagine that kind of worm inside your body and eating all that nutrition inside your body, rather than your body getting healthier but you getting weaker.
Susilo is a key part of Otago University's ties with Indonesia, having run the Gamelan course for many years. Dan Bendrups has also been a frequent visitor at Dunedin campus, from his base at La Trobe University in Australia. The two musicians have worked closely before.
Basically, for the project, Joko and I have put together a new story based on traditional aspects of wayang kulit repertoire, which seeks to inform, I guess, people all over the country about good health and good hygiene.
Susilo says this is an effective way of communicating with people in remote villages. The soundtrack recording features former UK session bass player to the Stars Rob Burns, Emmy Award nominated composer Trevor Coleman, along with Bendrups, Joko Susilo and Otago University ethnomusicologist Henry Johnson. They estimate the project will be completed in the coming months. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
A new vehicle is being added to the Southland Police Force's arsenal for a limited time. From now until mid-February, police will be leasing a tractor. And it's all being done to get rural communities talking about their role in crime prevention.
It's hard to miss, but it's unlikely to be used in a police chase. Hi, I'm Ruby Spink in Invercargill, next to the tractor that police are hoping will start conversations about rural crime.
The tractor is used to start conversations, really. We're targeting talking to rural people in rural locations, and so we've got a tractor here to do that.
It's all about breaking down barriers. This tractor will be visiting the AMP shows in Winton, Gore and Tuatapere, as well as the Edendale Crank Up this weekend. Police are hoping this will bring people in so they can talk about how to keep themselves and their property safe.
It comes down to a crime prevention thing at the end of the day. The biggest problem that we have is a lot of stuff is insecure. If farmers took the time to secure their property, their equipment, a lot of stuff would be saved from going missing. CB
Norwood provided the 2017 New Holland T595. The staff at AgriCentre South say there's a culture amongst rural communities of she'll be right when it comes to crime.
You talk to a lot of farmers and they'll go, oh, X went missing and Y went missing, and you say, well, have you reported it? And they'll go, oh, what's the problem? And it's just getting out there to say every little bit of information counts. And we spread that message out there. You know, we're wanting to do business and help them in whatever way we can.
Fraser says he's proud to support the police in sending this message. And between the shows, the tractor will stay here at the Lawnville Roundabout for interested people to come by and take photos with. I'm Ruby Spink for The South Today.
Last year, musician Alex Gilks took on Scotland's most celebrated poet, 18th century literary icon Robbie Burns. Gilks' band, the Partial Fancies, entered the annual Robbie Rocks competition, and the complex arrangement was shot and recorded in just one take.
Say that fortune grieves him while the star of hope she leaves him.
Anyone listening in will be left in no doubt that Robbie was a rocker. Alex Gilks, who was a working father with 3 children, managed to find the time to take out the top prize in Toitu Settler Museum's Robbie Rocks competition last year with a group of friends. As the contest rolls around again, he discussed his winning rendition of A Fond Kiss with the band Partial Fancies.
The recording part of it was quite smooth. The guys, the other 3, were kind enough to give up some time and come into my office and have a few takes, get it sounding okay. And the competition is nice in that you can just have this kind of live demo kind of thing, so that it doesn't have to be a polished sort of recording.
The Fancies set their version of the poem as a round, complete with melodica, Casio tone keyboard and guitar. They recorded the complex arrangement in one take in Gilks' shared office in town. The rules stipulate videos must be shot in one take.
Conveniently quick to bung a microphone in the middle of the 4 of us and test a few things, but get it sounding so it was all right enough.
So, is he going to enter, and does Gilks think he can win again?
Not this year, no. Kind of crept up on me. Perhaps again though, it's a good competition. The diversity last year was really neat.
Online entries close on January the 15th. Roselle LeBone, The South Today.
And finally, the Lake Hayes AMP show brings the town a little closer to the country. It gives the Wakatipu community a closer taste of rural life. And this year's show was the 102nd time it's been held.
These kids braved the cold and rain and came out to watch this magician wow them with his tricks. You name it, they have it. Cars to spare pools to moisturizers, coffee, hot dogs, candy floss, Ferris wheels, magic show and of course the horses.
As far as events in the Wakatipu Basin in New Zealand, really, you know, AMP shows are probably the longest running events that there are, and iconic. By far here, yeah, they are iconic.
Maggie Hillock is 61. She has ridden horses and competed for 40 years. As a young girl, she had that instant connection with the horses, and horse riding have been in her system ever since.
I can go out for a ride on my horse and I come home feeling a million times better. You know, just the old saying, what is it? The outside of a horse is very good for the inside of a man. and it's true of a woman as well.
Hello, Mina. I'm so in Queenstown. In fact, we're in Arrowtown with the Lake Hayes AP show. I'm in the really old bus called the Remarkables Experience. It is about 70 years old, along with my friend Neville.
Hi.
Who's been taking people from the parking area to the show, and the show has begun and it's wonderful.
Another novel thing one would find in the Lake Hayes AMP show are the kids and adult handmade items on display. These funky items were made by kids, put on display in the hope of winning prizes. Mina Amso, The South Today.
And that's all for this edition of Southern Newsweek. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, or you can keep up with Southern News via our website, channel39.co.nz. I'm Holly Buchanan, thanks for watching.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.